All right, what's good, YouTube? We back. I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna be a quick reaction. I just wanted to react to this one real quick because it caught my eye when I was scrolling on YouTube. That's usually how it happened. I just see something I wanna watch, and I'm like, why not make it a reaction video? This one is more so it's an Avatar video. It's called Firebenders Aren't Actually Bending Fire and I Can Prove It. So we gonna see what he mean by he can prove it, because I don't know what he mean. Personally, I haven't even looked at the video at all. I haven't even tried to attempt to even watch a second of it. But I'm assuming, this is my prediction. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do a prediction. I got a prediction. I think that he gonna get scientific with it and be like, they're actually just bending this and that causes fire to combust, or yada yada yada, you know, that causes fire to start, and they're bending those elements together and it creates fire, but they're not actually bending the fire. They're bending the elements that creates the fire. That's what I think it's gonna be. Yes, sir, yes, sir. But okay, we're gonna get straight into the video.
Firebending, one of the weirdest elements in Avatar. The only benders that seemingly generate their element directly from the body. Firebending is clearly the odd one out. The rest of the elements need a physical substance to bend. Fire is just a chemical reaction.
I never thought about that.
It's
I'm not gonna
combustion.
lie.
And somehow it gets worse. They also shoot lightning. What does fire even have to do with lightning? So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what firebending really is. And once you understand firebending, it unlocks new subbending abilities that the show never dared to explore.
And before y'all say anything in the comments about this big jug of grape juice, I'm gonna tell you before you even type it up or send it, I don't give a.
Alright, so let's start with what we know. Firebenders can generate both fire and lightning, which seemingly have little to do with each other than both being, well, hot.
And they can do lava too, right? It sounds more like they just bend in heat, or like, ooh, that could be what it is. It sounds like they bending or like messing with the humidity or the heat of the air, and they're just heating it up. That could be what it is.
We've got two unrelated abilities, or there's something that we're missing. Let's start with basic firebending. So to make fire, you need fuel and oxygen, which means firebending runs into a problem immediately. Combustion needs fuel. Benders in the Avatar world use chi, or spirit energy, to bend. So maybe the chi is the fuel? A firebender is just burning their own energy to make flames.
And Azula got blue
flames.
I always wondered why she had blue flames.
Iroh holds a cup of tea and warms it in his hands. There's no flame here, there's nothing really burning at all. It's just heat appearing in his cup of tea. If firebending was just simple combustion, chi fueled or not.
Damn! Why he smacked the cup out his hand like that?
His cup of tea. If firebending
I don't remember that. I watched Avatar twice.
There'd be fire here, and there isn't. So whatever Iroh's doing, it isn't making fire, it's making heat. If a firebender can produce heat with no flame, then flame was never the point, which is when it hit me. Firebenders don't bend fire, they bend heat, which really means
so that's what I just
they're
said.
energy benders. Now you're probably thinking energy bending is already a thing. Aang does it when he fights Fire Lord Ozai, but look at where Aang got energy bending. The lion turtle looks extremely similar and has the same markings to the fire lion turtle shown in the Legend of Korra. Even if they aren't the same one, they're clearly related in some way. Energy bending.
In the comments real quick, I want y'all to tell me, how did y'all feel about the Legend of Korra? I'm not gonna lie. For me, the Legend of Korra was kind of not what I wanted it to be. It was more so just not what I wanted it to be, for real. Like, I was expecting, oh yeah, you know, the Aang successor, or like the next Avatar being linked to all of the people from the past. And Aang is dead, obviously, because you have to kill the last Avatar to reincarnate the next Avatar, or to reincarnate as the next Avatar for the next Avatar to incarnate. You know what I mean? And obviously Aang is dead, and he can't be a part of the story. I get it, but you could at least give us a little more, like you show us his kids and stuff. And I will preference this, what I'm about to say, with saying that I have not finished The Legend of Korra, because I just genuinely did not like the way it felt to watch. I did not like the way it felt watching this shit. I'm not gonna lie, but I just feel like it was like not what I wanted it to be, for real. That's really it. It just wasn't what it seemed like it would have been. Coming off of one of the best cartoons of the 2010s and 2000s, and then going into, but that's usually how it is though, because I don't like Dragon Ball Super for real either. They barely got a plot. They just really fighting. They just fighting niggas to fight niggas. Like, oh, you look strong, I want to fight. Or let's start a tournament just to have fun because I'm bored. Like, it's really not no plot to it. Like, you know, Dragon Ball Z, you got people coming trying to kill everybody that you love, trying to destroy the world, the universe, the galaxy, and it just keep going up. And you actually have meaning to the fights. Now they just fighting the fight. Like, they just bored. Like, and they doing it. I know they doing it for marketing too.
Firebending bends raw energy in a scientific sense. They aren't really moving a physical element around, they're manipulating an invisible flow of thermodynamics. Think about it, a flame is just a fast dump of thermal energy causing combustion of the air. Now, if you're still not with me, listen to Uncle Iroh.
The breath becomes energy in the body. The energy extends past your limbs and becomes fire.
So he's saying,
Get it?
so he think they bend in energy.
Right
We're gonna
this
see how
time.
that. We're
Now
gonna
that
see
we
how
have a
that
better
theory
understanding
pans
of
out.
fire, lightning starts to make a stronger connection. When Uncle Iroh broke down the lightning to Zuko, he wasn't just speaking in spiritual metaphors. He was giving
He
him a
redirected her
perfectly
lightning
accurate
too.
lecture on real-world
Iroh
physics.
was cold.
Here, let's look at them side by side. Iroh tells us
Energy is both yin and yang. Positive energy and negative energy.
in the real world, this is a state of equilibrium. Air molecules all around you right now are electrically neutral, containing an equal balance of positive protons and negative electrons. Then Iroh explains,
Only a select few firebenders can separate these energies. This creates an imbalance.
in actual atmospheric physics, this is static charge accumulation.
So that's how they bending. That's how they. So it is getting scientific, basically. Like, so I was right. I was right both times. I said it was gonna get scientific, and I said it was gonna be like. And then earlier after that, I said it was gonna be like they was bending heat, and he said both of those things. But now he's saying energy. I didn't say that. I will admit I didn't say that. But we was like 75%,
Crafts force
80%
ice
right.
crystals to crash into each other. This strips away electrons, sending negative charges to the bottom of the cloud, and the top becomes intensely positive. You get a giant imbalance. Finally, Iroh says that
The energy wants to restore balance. And in the moment the positive and negative energy come crashing back together, you provide release and guidance.
And that right there is the exact definition of an electrostatic discharge. When the electrical potential becomes too charged to contain,
now they're
it
using
rips
all
through
these
the air.
terms and-
The
and
charges
words.
rush
I'm not
towards each
gonna-
other to restore equilibrium, creating a blinding flash of plasma. The only real difference, well, nature relies on storms. A firebender creates that intense division internally. They do this by using their own chi pathways. As Iroh puts it, you don't control the lightning, you're simply its humble guide. Which brings us to a giant piece of evidence for our energy bending theory. When Zuko tries to generate his own lightning, it blows up in his face. Why? Because Iroh warns, lightning requires a completely calm and unconflicted mind.
And he was
Now,
always angry
Zuko
at
was
the
walking
time.
emotional trauma, so
Yeah, at
when
the
he
time he
tried,
was.
he couldn't actually separate the charges to generate electricity. Instead, all that built up chi energy instantly bottlenecked, Zuko being unable to separate the positive and the negative. So instead of an electrical release, it just converted into raw, compressed thermal energy. So he accidentally triggered an uncontrolled combustion blast. And if
Okay,
that
he actually
explosion
making
looks
a lot of
familiar,
sense.
it's
What the
because
hell?
It's just like combustion bending.
Okay, I'm
Now,
not gonna lie. I thought he was pulling stuff out his when I saw the title, but he is actually making so much sense. I could believe. I feel like this dude could sell me anything he wanted in the world. He could pick anything up and sell it to me and just make me think it's the most valuable shit in the world. He is making this sound. He's making the most convincing argument I've ever heard for somebody arguing anything about Avatar. I
Think
swear to
about
God.
combustion benders from the show. They don't just bend fire. They use deep rhythmic breathing to compress the chi into a singular point. The third eye tattoo on their forehead. It's extreme
I remember
thermal
this dude.
containment. They superheat a dense pressurized stream of air,
He was a
almost
menace.
like
He
a
was a danger to
projectile. The
society.
moment it hits a solid object or loses containment, that compressed thermal energy
That was near the
expands
end of Avatar,
outwards,
too. This was
causing
after
an
they had already
explosion.
failed
Now, look
to
at what
align on
happens when
spoilers.
Sokka hit
The Avatar came out 20 years ago almost. 20, 30 years ago. That I remember. This is near the end after they had already failed to beat Ozai or something happened because something didn't go right. I can't remember. Like I told you, I haven't watched Avatar in a long time, but I did watch it twice. Something went wrong. They had to run away and regroup and then go back into the Fire Nation and actually that's when Aang put belt to ass. He started putting hands and feet on that man. He started putting hands, feet, water, dirt, fire, air. He put everything he had on him. And then took his bending. Aang's so
It's
hard for
Combustion
that.
Man in his third
Aang's so
eye.
cold for
The
this.
impact of the boomerang not only disrupts his chi, but also destroys his focus. So when he tries to build up that containment again, the energy loses stability and blows up point blank, similar to what happened to Zuko. But even if Zuko can't generate his own lightning, that doesn't stop him from redirecting it. The best proof for firebending really being energy bending is heat and lightning direction. We see Iroh redirect a natural lightning bolt, which is just pure electrical energy. And this is the exact same mechanism that Fire Lord Sozin uses at the volcano. He doesn't use fire, he siphons away the thermal energy directly out of the rock, cooling it into a solid. With his other hand, he redirects the heat, much like lightning redirection. So back to our question, what is firebending? Firebenders can manipulate both thermal and electrical energy by either generating it or through redirection, regardless if the source is natural or from another bender.
So firebenders got to be like smart as shit, or they have to be very good with controlling the things around them. Like that actually sounds like it's harder to do than any other type of bending. Except for, I will say, waterbending is like, I could say you can do more complicated things with it, but firebending like basically sounds fucking hard to learn. Like if you were born in the Fire Nation, to learn firebending, I feel like it's harder to learn than waterbending in the water tribe. Like, I don't know, but I feel like with blood bending, when you get into that, now I feel like you're doing stuff like that's complicated to the point where you are past anything firebending can do. Bloodbending is crazy. You can bend what is in every single human on earth. There is nobody that can stop you unless you get another bloodbender that can like cancel you out. Like that's the only way that you can be stopped. There's no other way to stop a bloodbender.
If you're enjoying this video on Nomad neutralizers, you should check out this bitch theoretically do. Let's get into some crazy subbending abilities. We'll start with one of the most direct applications of heat redirection, using thermal siphoning like Sozin did with the volcano. We know a master firebender like Firelord Sozin can manipulate thermal energy without creating fire. But what would happen if a bender applied that exact same mechanism to a
That
person?
really did look like
Instead of
airbending,
pumping
I'm not
heat
even
into a
gonna lie.
target to burn them, they could pull the thermal energy out of a person's body by siphoning away the metabolic heat and redirecting
See, but
it.
now we
They
getting into like theoretical stuff. We don't know that, but if they were able to do that, then that would just completely defeat the point I just made about bloodbending, because then they can do basically something that's on par with bloodbending.
Drop your core temperature to a lethal freezing point. But trust me, it gets even worse. Iroh proved that firebenders don't just generate lightning, they can redirect it. But atmospheric lightning is giant and destructive. What happens
Okay,
when
the
we scale
audio's
that
back.
down to a cellular level? The human body is driven entirely by bioelectric signals. Every time your heart beats, every time your muscle contracts, every single thought traveling through your brain is all powered by tiny electrical impulses. This is how your nervous system works. That's also why being electrocuted is so harmful. If a firebender's chi can allow them to sense, absorb, and redirect a lightning bolt, then a master firebender should realistically be able to sense and guide the electrical signals inside of a human body.
So yeah,
By
that's
either
like that's what I'm
redirecting or
saying.
interrupting someone's
basically
internal
on par
electrical
with
currents,
fire-
they
with,
wouldn't even
bloodbending.
need to attack them. They just need to touch them. They could short circuit your motor neurons, scramble neural pathways in your brain, or even redirect the electrical signals that cause your heart to beat. Now, this turns lightning bending from one of the most flashy attacks in the show to something more like an instant death touch. Now, even if you're not with me on those ones, I had another interesting idea: the concept of a thermal battery. We know from real-world physics that certain materials like basalt have incredibly high heat capacity, meaning they can hold on to a massive amount of thermal energy. A firebender would carry it around as a portable.
He keeps showing this
battery
clip,
pack,
and this reminded me
preheated
that
before
Zula was
emission.
strong
With
as shit for
sub-zero
the whole show. Like
temperatures,
nobody
or
could,
during an
nobody
extended
could mess
battle
with her
where their
for
chi is
like,
depleted,
literally
they
the whole
could
show until
siphon
the
the
end.
stored heat back out of the rock to continue firebending.
And even at
Kinda
the
like
end, didn't they have to jump her? Didn't Katara and and Zuko have to jump Azula to beat her? And I think they still had to get lucky while jumping her. I can't remember, but I think that's what happened. I really cannot remember. I watched it so long. I'm about to rewatch Avatar. Deadass.
a mini version of
This
the
is such a good
sun
show.
or Sozin's comet, allowing them to get a small power-up. Then there's the concept of thermal tracking, which is kind of like a firebender's equivalent to Toph's seismic sense. Basically, every living thing gives off heat signatures. But if a firebender can both sense and interact with thermal energy, they shouldn't just be able to produce it, they should also be able to perceive it. By mapping the invisible infrared radiation bouncing around an environment, a blind or blindfolded firebender could navigate by tracking enemies' heat, kind of like a sixth sense.
That would be hard.
And
as
finally,
hell.
I saved this one for last. We have electromagnetic field manipulation. In electrodynamics, moving electrical charges inherently generate magnetic fields. Since lightning
If they had this guy making this video, like with the production of Avatar, firebenders would be broken. Actually, they would be unstoppable. Nobody would be able to mess with them. All these extra powers he giving them, like obviously he's not, he's not giving them to him, but he's saying that they should be able to do this theoretically based off of what they're actually doing when they're bending fire.
generating firebenders have the advanced capability to both separate,
He making it
channel,
sound
and
so
direct streams
good,
of
too, like,
electricity
actually.
all inside their body. They're essentially walking electromagnets. By precisely controlling the flow of these internal electrical currents, a master lightning bender could theoretically project their own magnetic field. Now, they wouldn't be metal bending in the traditional sense, but they could generate a magnetic field of repulsion.
That
This
would
would
bend
be
the metal.
great against either
Or,
metal
like, push
benders
it
or
or
any
bring it
incoming
towards you, that
weapons
makes
like
sense.
swords or daggers. This would be especially useful in more modernized eras like The Legend of Korra. Or you could use it to scramble navigation
I don't even wanna
instruments
talk
of
about
things
The
like
Legend of Korra, I'm
airships.
not gonna lie.
But let me know what you think in the comments.
That was a good video. I like that. That was a good video. But yeah, I mean, I kind of, like I said, he made everything that he said sound so good. Like actually, he could sell me a pencil and make me think it was worth gold. But I really do think that he might be right. He might just be right. He made it sound good, like I said. So I can't really. I'm kind of scared to side with him because he really made it sound. He made it sound too good to be true. Like he made it sound so good to the point where there's nothing you can say to really dispute what he's saying. So I don't know. I agree with him though. I agree with him. That was a good video. But I'm not gonna lie to y'all. That's it. I know that was a really quick video. That's literally what I was just said it was gonna be. It's gonna be a quick reaction. Oh, this is what I meant to say earlier. I'm glad I just did a quick reaction. I gotta talk to y'all. With reactions and anything like gaming and stuff, all of the other stuff, anything I do that you have seen me do, I usually just pick stuff that I like already know about or see and wanna react to. But y'all can comment like stuff y'all want to see me react to too. This is the third video I'm making, but the first video I made hasn't really gone up yet. So y'all might already do it and I don't know yet. But just in case y'all don't, this will be the last video y'all see of the 3 reactions. And I want y'all to start letting me know what you want me to react to, or like any games you want me to play, let me know. But like if you want me to play a game, make sure it's like content applicable, if that makes sense. Like it can't be stuff that I can't show on fucking YouTube or stream, obviously. Like it can't be nothing where the characters is constantly naked, always talking about, you know, sexual stuff, but stuff like that you've played or seen played that you would like to see me play. You feel me? But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video today. I'm gonna see y'all on the next video.